Maria, a woman shaped by time and experience, held her head high. Her life, though humble, had been one of dignity and grace. A retired seamstress, she took pride in her appearance, always meticulous and well-presented, a testament to her character. Each wrinkle on her face told a story, a narrative of resilience and quiet strength. Life had taught her the value of hard work, the importance of family, and above all, the power of kindness. Maria had faced her share of challenges. She had known loss, had weathered storms that life threw her way. Through it all, she held on to her faith and her unwavering belief in the goodness of people. Her heart, though marked by time, remained open, ready to offer a helping hand, a kind word, or a warm smile. She believed in treating everyone with respect, regardless of their social standing or appearance. The Golden Star Hotel loomed before Maria, a monument to wealth and extravagance. Its gleaming facade, a mirror reflecting the city's skyline, seemed to mock her simple attire. She clutched her worn handbag, its leather softened with age, a stark contrast to the polished marble and shimmering chandeliers that awaited her inside. This was a world she had only glimpsed through the windows of buses, a world that felt both alluring and intimidating. Taking a deep breath, Maria adjusted her simple dress and stepped inside. The air conditioning sent a shiver down her spine. The lobby buzzed with activity. Bellhops in crisp uniforms whisked past. Guests with designer luggage chatted on their phones, and the scent of expensive perfume hung heavy in the air. Maria felt a knot of anxiety tighten in her chest. This was a far cry from her small, familiar apartment building. The receptionist, a young woman with perfectly coiffed hair and a bored expression, barely glanced at Maria. "Yes?" she asked, her voice laced with impatience. Maria cleared her throat, her voice a mere whisper in the grand lobby. "I'm here to see my grandson, Lucas." She gave his full name, hoping it would lend her some credibility in this opulent setting. "Room number?" The receptionist didn't bother to look up, her fingers tapping away at the keyboard. Maria felt a flush creep up her neck. She didn't know the room number. "He's expecting me," she stammered, feeling a growing sense of unease. "Everyone here is expecting someone," the receptionist retorted, her tone clipped. "Do you have a reservation?" Maria felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to see an elderly gentleman, his face etched with wisdom and kindness. He smiled gently, his eyes twinkling with understanding. "May I help, madam?" he offered, his voice a calming presence in the bustling lobby. Maria hesitated for a moment, then poured out her predicament, her voice trembling with a mixture of embarrassment and frustration. The man listened patiently, nodding in understanding. When she finished, he turned to the receptionist, his voice firm yet respectful. "Perhaps you could check if a Mr. Lucas is expecting a visitor," he suggested. The receptionist, sensing his quiet authority, reluctantly complied. A moment later, she confirmed that Lucas was indeed expecting his grandmother. As Maria waited, anxiously twisting her handbag strap, a young man hurried towards them. It was Lucas, his face etched with concern. "Lucas, grandmother!" he exclaimed, reaching for her hand. "I'm so sorry you had to wait. I told the front desk to expect you." He turned to the receptionist, his voice laced with displeasure. "Lucas, this is my grandmother, and she deserves to be treated with respect." The receptionist mumbled an apology, her cheeks flushing with a mix of embarrassment and annoyance. Lucas, ignoring her, gently guided Maria towards the elevators. "Lucas, come on, Grandma," he said, his voice softening. "Let's get you settled in. I've booked you a lovely room." As they rode up in the elevator, Lucas apologized again, his voice filled with regret. "Lucas, I should have warned them you were coming," he said. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that." Maria, touched by her grandson's concern, patted his hand reassuringly. "Maria, it's all right, dear," she said. "It's just a misunderstanding." Later that evening, while Lucas was busy with a work engagement, Maria found herself alone in her luxurious room. Despite the plush surroundings, she felt a pang of loneliness. She missed her small apartment, her familiar routine. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Maria opened it to find a young woman in a maid's uniform. "Rosa? Mrs. Rodriguez?" she asked, her voice warm and friendly. "I'm Rosa. I just wanted to apologize for how you were treated at the front desk earlier. It was wrong, and I'm so sorry you had to experience that." Maria was taken aback by the unexpected apology. "Maria, thank you, dear," she said, her heart warming at the young woman's kindness. Rosa stepped inside, her eyes filled with concern. "Rosa, are you sure you're all right, Mrs. Rodriguez?" she asked. "Can I get you anything? A cup of tea, perhaps?" Maria smiled, touched by the young woman's genuine concern. "Maria, a cup of tea would be lovely, thank you," she said. As Rosa prepared the tea, the two women chatted like old friends. Maria learned that Rosa was a single mother, working tirelessly to provide for her two young children. Rosa, in turn, was captivated by Maria's stories of her life, her experiences, and her unwavering faith. That evening, as Maria sipped her tea and listened to Rosa's stories, a profound realization washed over her. The Golden Star Hotel, with all its grandeur and opulence, was merely a backdrop. It was the people within its walls, their actions and interactions, that truly shaped its character. The receptionist, Amanda, with her dismissive attitude, was a reminder that appearances could be deceiving. Beneath her polished exterior lay a young woman, perhaps grappling with her own insecurities, her own struggles. The elderly gentleman, William, with his quiet dignity and unwavering kindness, had restored Maria's faith in humanity. He had shown her that compassion could be found in the most unexpected of places, and Rosa, the hard-working maid with a heart of gold, had reminded Maria that true beauty lay not in material possessions or social standing, but in the kindness and empathy we extend to others. The next morning, Maria noticed a subtle shift in the atmosphere of the Golden Star Hotel. The staff seemed more attentive, their smiles more genuine. Even Amanda, the receptionist, offered a hesitant nod of acknowledgement as Maria passed by. As she joined Lucas for breakfast, Maria shared her observations. "Maria, I think things might be changing around here," she said, a twinkle in her eye. Lucas, surprised by his grandmother's words, looked around the bustling dining room. He noticed the staff's attentiveness, the genuine smiles exchanged between guests and employees. "Lucas, you might be right, Grandma," he said, a slow smile spreading across his face. Later that day, Lucas overheard a conversation between the hotel manager and a group of employees. The manager, his face etched with concern, spoke about the importance of treating all guests with respect, regardless of their background or appearance. He emphasized the need for empathy and understanding, stressing that every guest deserved to feel valued and welcome. Maria's experience at the Golden Star Hotel had an unexpected ripple effect. Her story, shared among the staff, sparked a conversation about prejudice, empathy, and the importance of seeing beyond appearances. It prompted a moment of self-reflection, a collective realization that even in a world of luxury and extravagance, kindness and compassion were the most valuable currencies. Rosa, inspired by Maria's strength and resilience, found her own voice. She shared her experiences as a single mother, highlighting the challenges faced by those who often went unnoticed in the gilded cages of the hotel industry. The elderly gentleman, William, continued to be a beacon of kindness, his gentle demeanor and wise words leaving a lasting impact on everyone he encountered. And Amanda, the receptionist, began to question her own biases, her own preconceived notions. She realized that judging others based on their appearance was not only unfair, but also robbed her of the opportunity to connect with people on a deeper level. Maria's visit to the Golden Star Hotel became a catalyst for change, a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can have a profound impact. The hotel, once a symbol of exclusivity and opulence, began to embrace a new ethos, one that valued empathy, respect, and the power of human connection. It became a place where guests were seen not for their wealth or social standing, but for their shared humanity. And Maria, the unassuming grandmother, proved that heroes come in all shapes and sizes. She showed that true strength lay not in wealth or power, but in the courage to stand up for what is right, to treat others with kindness, and to never underestimate the impact of a compassionate heart. As Maria prepared to leave the Golden Star Hotel, she carried with her more than just memories. She carried the satisfaction of knowing that her experience, though challenging, had sparked a flame of change. She had shown that heroes don't wear capes or possess superpowers. They are ordinary people who, through their actions and interactions, make the world a kinder, more compassionate place. They are the quiet champions of empathy, the unsung heroes of everyday life. And sometimes they are grandmothers with hearts full of love and a quiet determination to make a difference, one small act of kindness at a time. Maria adjusted her shawl, clutching a worn leather satchel close to her chest. Inside lay her grandson, David's future. Important documents, carefully compiled, held the key to his dreams. David, a bright young lawyer, was making a name for himself. He was presenting a case at the Grand Golden Star Hotel. Maria had promised to deliver the papers, a promise made more sacred by the pride she held for her grandson. The bus rumbled to a stop, and Maria cautiously stepped off. The Golden Star Hotel towered before her, all gleaming glass and polished marble. Intimidation tightened its grip on Maria's heart. She wasn't accustomed to such grandeur. This place was for people with expensive suits and even more expensive lives. Still, she held her head high. She had a promise to keep. The air inside the Golden Star Hotel hummed with an almost tangible energy. Maria felt out of place, like a sparrow that had flown into a gilded cage. The receptionist, a young woman with perfectly coiffed hair and a bored expression, barely glanced up. Amanda, as receptionist. "Yes," Maria explained her reason for being there, her voice trembling slightly. The receptionist's gaze swept over Maria's simple attire, her worn shoes, and the old-fashioned satchel. A dismissive frown touched her lips. Amanda, as receptionist. "I'm sorry, but only guests are allowed beyond this point." Maria felt her shoulders slump. Disappointment welled up inside her, but more than that, she felt a pang of shame. Was this how the world treated you when you didn't wear fancy clothes or have a voice that commanded attention? Suddenly, a hand gently touched her arm. "Arthur, as kindly gentleman, excuse me." A voice, warm and comforting, broke through Maria's despair. A kindly gentleman, his face etched with the wisdom of years, stood beside her. He was impeccably dressed, but his eyes held a warmth that transcended the expensive suit. Next to him stood a young staff member, her name tag identifying her as Rosa. Rosa's uniform was crisp and professional, but her gaze was filled with a compassion that mirrored the elderly man's. "Arthur, as kindly gentleman, perhaps we can help." Maria, her heart warmed by their kindness, explained her situation. The elderly man listened patiently, his eyes never leaving hers. When she was finished, he smiled, and it transformed his face, erasing the years and revealing a mischievous twinkle in his eyes. "Arthur, as kindly gentleman. Well then, let's get these important documents to your grandson, shall we?" He turned to the receptionist, his demeanor shifting. "Arthur, as kindly gentleman. Rosa, I believe we need to remind some people that kindness and respect are far more valuable than appearances." The receptionist stammered, her face paling as she recognized the man standing before her. "Amanda, as receptionist. Mr. Goldstein, I didn't realize." Arthur Goldstein, the owner of the Golden Star Hotel, was a legend. He was known for his business acumen, but also for his big heart. He believed in second chances and the power of compassion. "Arthur, as Arthur Goldstein. Rosa, from this moment forward, you are in charge of ensuring every guest, regardless of their appearance, is treated with the utmost respect and dignity. Everyone deserves kindness, and the Golden Star will be known for it." Rosa, her eyes shining with a mix of gratitude and determination, nodded. She knew this was her opportunity to make a difference, to turn a negative experience into a positive force. Turning to Maria, she offered a sincere apology and, with a warm smile, led her towards the grand ballroom where David was waiting. As they walked, Maria noticed a change in the atmosphere. Staff members who had previously hurried past with indifferent expressions now smiled and greeted them warmly. It was as if Mr. Goldstein's words had unlocked a hidden reservoir of kindness within the walls of the Golden Star Hotel. "Rosa," warmly. "Right this way, Mrs. Maria." Reaching the ballroom, Rosa held the door open for Maria. David, handsome and confident in his suit, looked up, his face breaking into a wide grin when he saw his grandmother. But his smile faltered when he noticed her companion and the look of concern on her face. Maria, her eyes twinkling with unshed tears, simply patted his hand. "Maria, everything is perfect, my dear," she said. her voice thick with emotion. She then recounted the events at the reception, her voice regaining its strength as she spoke of Rosa's kindness and Mr. Goldstein's intervention. David listened intently, his expression a mixture of anger at how his grandmother had been treated and pride in her strength and dignity. When she finished her story, he turned to Rosa, his eyes filled with gratitude. Lucas as David. "Thank you," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "You are a true example of compassion and grace." Rosa, touched by his words, simply smiled. She knew she had done the right thing, but his heartfelt appreciation meant the world to her. Section 8. Lessons in Humility. Arthur as Mr. Goldstein. Your grandmother is an extraordinary woman. She reminded us all of the importance of humility and kindness. David, humbled by Mr. Goldstein's words, embraced his grandmother. He realized that true success wasn't just about winning cases. It was about the impact you had on others, the lives you touched with your actions. Section 9. The Power of One. The encounter at the Golden Star Hotel became a turning point. Word spread of Mr. Goldstein's actions, of Rosa's compassion, and of Maria's quiet dignity. The hotel, once known for its opulence and exclusivity, began to exude a different kind of warmth, one that embraced everyone who walked through its doors. Section 10. A Grandson's Success. Lucas as David. Inspired by the events, I went on to win my case, but more importantly, I carried the lessons I had learned that day throughout my career. I treated everyone I met with respect, regardless of their background or social standing. I became known not just as a brilliant lawyer, but as a man of integrity and compassion. Section 11. A Brighter Tomorrow. And Maria? She returned to her simple life, her heart full. She had kept her promise to her grandson, but more importantly, she had played a part in creating a ripple effect of kindness that spread far beyond the gilded walls of the Golden Star Hotel. It was a reminder that even in a world that often seemed focused on appearances, the smallest acts of compassion could make the biggest difference. The world, she realized, was full of unexpected heroes waiting for a chance to.
The Golden Star Hotel. Grand name, fading glory. Tonight, tension hung heavy in the air, thick as the velvet drapes in the lobby. A storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil within. The usual hum of travelers was replaced by hushed whispers, anxious glances. A sense of unease, of unspoken divisions, settled over the room. Change, like the storm, was coming, and nothing would ever be the same. Mr. Thompson, the hotel manager, stood stiffly by the grand staircase. A stickler for rules, his face was etched with worry. His starched collar seemed to constrict his very breath. Across the room, Maria, a young maid with eyes full of dreams and a heart heavy with worry, polished the already gleaming brass fixtures. She felt invisible, unnoticed. A young man, David, sat alone, nervously clutching a worn leather briefcase. New to the city, he felt the sting of judgment in every curious glance. He longed for connection, for a friendly face in the impersonal crowd. Then there was Richard, a businessman, loud and entitled, used to getting his way, oblivious to the discomfort he caused around him. David, feeling overwhelmed, decided to step outside for some air. As he reached for the door, he noticed Maria struggling with a heavy luggage cart. Without hesitation, he rushed to help her. "Thank you," she whispered, her eyes meeting his with a spark of gratitude. A simple act, a moment of connection. But in that exchange, something shifted. Walls of indifference began to crumble. The storm raged on outside, but inside the Golden Star, a different kind of storm was brewing. A storm of empathy, of understanding. Section 4. The Ripple Effect. Mr. Thompson, witnessing this unexpected kindness, felt a long-forgotten warmth stir within him. He had spent so long enforcing rules, he had forgotten the importance of human connection. He walked over to David and Maria, a kind smile replacing his usual stern facade. "Howard, as Mr. Thompson." "Let me get you a fresh cup of coffee, Maria," he offered, his voice surprisingly gentle. Maria looked up, astonished. Never in all her time working at the hotel had Mr. Thompson offered her anything but a cursory nod. David, sensing the change in the atmosphere, smiled back. The ice had been broken. Section 5. Walls crumble. Richard, used to preferential treatment, approached the front desk, demanding to be seen immediately. He barely acknowledged Maria as he barked his demands. To his surprise, Mr. Thompson addressed him calmly but firmly. "Howard," as Mr. Thompson. "Everyone waits their turn, sir." Richard sputtered, taken aback. He was used to people shrinking under his gaze, not standing their ground. He glanced around, expecting support from the other guests. Instead, he was met with indifferent stares. For the first time, Richard felt a flicker of self-awareness, a questioning of his own behavior.
The Golden Star Hotel. It stood on the corner of Oak and 3rd, a once grand establishment now shrouded in the melancholy of neglect. The Golden Star Hotel, a name that once evoked images of opulence and grandeur, now whispered tales of faded glory. The walls, once adorned with vibrant art and rich tapestries, now stood bare, their paint peeling away like the memories of better days. Its owner, Arthur Goldstein, a man weathered by time and disappointment, had watched its luster fade, much like his own spirit. Arthur had inherited the hotel from his father, a beacon of pride and joy in its heyday. But as the years passed, the weight of maintaining its former glory became too much to bear. The staff, once a lively and dedicated team, now performed their duties with mechanical indifference. The spark that once ignited their passion for hospitality had long been extinguished. Maria, the head housekeeper, toiled tirelessly, her gentle heart heavy with the weight of unspoken dreams. She had come to the Golden Star with hopes of building a better life for her family, but the hotel's decline had dashed those dreams. Lucas, a talented young chef struggling to find his footing, worked in the hotel's desolate kitchen, his culinary creativity stifled by the dreary atmosphere. He had once envisioned himself as a renowned chef, creating masterpieces that would delight the senses. But the reality of his situation had left him questioning his path. "Lucas, sometimes I wonder if my passion for cooking will ever find a place here." The kitchen, once a bustling hub of activity, now felt like a prison, its walls closing in on his dreams. Rosa, the shy receptionist, greeted guests with a hesitant smile, her spirit dampened by the lack of warmth within the hotel walls. She had always been a people person, finding joy in making others feel welcome, but the Golden Star had sapped her of that joy. "Rosa, welcome to the Golden Star Hotel. I hope you enjoy your stay." Her words, once filled with genuine warmth, now felt hollow and rehearsed. And then there was Howard, the manager, a man hardened by years of bitterness, ruling the staff with an iron fist, his heart seemingly impervious to compassion. Howard had once been a promising young manager, full of innovative ideas and a passion for the industry, but the hotel's decline had turned him into a shell of his former self. "Howard, we have standards to maintain. Do your job and do it right." His voice, once a source of inspiration, now carried a tone of resignation and frustration. The Golden Star Hotel, once a beacon of hospitality, had become a place devoid of joy, its faded grandeur a constant reminder of brighter days gone by. The chandeliers, once sparkling with brilliance, now hung dull and lifeless. The grand ballroom, which had hosted countless celebrations, now echoed with the silence of forgotten memories. Each day seemed to blend into the next, an endless cycle of monotony and despair. The guests, once eager to experience the luxury of the Golden Star, now came and went with little fanfare, their faces reflecting the hotel's decline. The staff, trapped in their routines, found little solace in their work, their dreams and aspirations buried beneath the weight of the hotel's faded glory. One evening, Arthur received an unexpected invitation. It was from a local community center requesting his presence at their annual fundraising dinner. Arthur hesitated. He had become a recluse, shunning social gatherings. Arthur Goldstein. "I prefer the solitude of my office, surrounded by the ghosts of the hotel's past." But something stirred within him, a flicker of curiosity perhaps, or maybe a longing for human connection. With a heavy heart and a sigh of resignation, Arthur decided to attend the dinner. Little did he know that this simple decision would set in motion a chain of events that would irrevocably alter the destiny of the Golden Star Hotel and its inhabitants. As he sat at the dinner, surrounded by strangers, Arthur felt a profound sense of displacement. The cheerful chatter and laughter grated on him, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence that had become his constant companion. He ate his meal mechanically, his gaze fixed on the tablecloth, lost in his thoughts. During the dinner, a young speaker took to the podium. With passionate words and heartfelt stories, she spoke about the power of kindness, the importance of compassion, and the profound impact of treating everyone with respect and empathy. Her words pierced through Arthur's hardened shell, awakening a long-dormant part of him. Arthur Goldstein. I looked around the room at the genuine smiles, the shared laughter, the palpable sense of community, and a wave of shame washed over me. The Golden Star Hotel, under his watch, had become the antithesis of everything this young woman was talking about. It was a place devoid of warmth, where kindness was a forgotten virtue and empathy a foreign concept. Arthur Goldstein. I thought of Maria, her quiet strength masked by her weary eyes, Lucas, his culinary dreams fading with each passing day, and Rosa, her spirit crushed by the weight of indifference. I thought of Howard, his heart hardened by years of resentment, and I realized with a pang of guilt that I was responsible for creating this culture of apathy. That night, Arthur couldn't sleep. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, each one more troubling than the last. The weight of his responsibilities pressed heavily on his shoulders, making it impossible to find any semblance of peace. The young woman's words echoed in his ears, a constant reminder of his failings. Her voice, filled with pain and disappointment, haunted him. He could see her face, etched with distress, every time he closed his eyes. He realized that the Golden Star Hotel was not just a building, it was a microcosm of humanity. Each guest, each staff member, represented a fragment of the larger world outside. The hotel was a living, breathing entity, reflecting the complexities and diversities of life, and he, as its caretaker, had failed miserably in his duty. The corridors, once filled with laughter and joy, now echoed with silence and despair. He had let the spirit of the place wither away, and the realization was a bitter pill to swallow. He knew he had to change, to transform the hotel from a place of desolation into a haven of hospitality, a place where kindness prevailed and empathy reigned supreme. The vision of a warm, welcoming atmosphere began to take shape in his mind, a stark contrast to the current state of affairs. Arthur Goldstein as Arthur. The next morning, I called a staff meeting. I knew that change couldn't happen overnight, but it had to start somewhere. The first step was to bring everyone together, to share my vision, and to seek their support. I stood before them, my heart heavy with remorse, and apologized. I could see the skepticism in their eyes, the doubt that anything could truly change. But I had to try, for their sake and for the hotel's future. I acknowledged my role in creating the toxic atmosphere that had permeated the hotel. It was a hard truth to admit, but it was necessary. I had to own up to my mistakes if there was any hope of moving forward. I spoke of the young woman's speech, her words resonating deeply within me, igniting a spark of hope. Her courage and honesty had been a wake-up call, a reminder that change was possible if we were willing to work for it. I shared my vision for the Golden Star Hotel, a vision of transformation and renewal. I painted a picture of what the hotel could become, a place where every guest felt at home and every staff member felt proud to work. I told them I wanted to create a place where guests felt welcomed and cherished, where staff members felt valued and respected, where kindness wasn't just a word but a way of life. I emphasized that this transformation would require effort from all of us, but the rewards would be worth it. Together, we could breathe new life into the Golden Star Hotel, turning it into a beacon of hope and hospitality. Arthur's words were met with stunned silence. The room, usually filled with the hum of daily activities, was now eerily quiet. The staff exchanged glances, trying to process the unexpected announcement. The staff, accustomed to his indifference, stared at him in disbelief. They had grown used to the routine, the monotony, and the lack of genuine engagement from their leader. This sudden shift was both confusing and unsettling. Maria, as Maria, I dared to hope. For the first time in years, I felt a glimmer of optimism. Could this be the change we had all been silently yearning for? Lucas as Lucas. My culinary spirit rekindled, I felt a surge of excitement. The kitchen, once a place of mere routine, now seemed like a canvas waiting for new creations. The possibilities felt endless. Rosa as Rosa. My shyness momentarily forgotten, I allowed myself a tentative smile. Howard, however, remained skeptical. His eyes narrowed, reflecting years of doubt and mistrust. Years of cynicism had made him wary of change, suspicious of anything that threatened the status quo. He had seen many promises come and go, and this one seemed no different. Arthur Goldstein as Arthur. Determined to prove my sincerity, I decided to lead by example. Actions, after all, spoke louder than words. I knew that to gain their trust, I had to show them that I was committed to this new direction. I began by promoting Rosa. Her dedication and hard work had not gone unnoticed, and it was time she received the recognition she deserved. I recognized her quiet efficiency, her ability to handle pressure with grace, and her inherent kindness. These were qualities that would serve her well in a leadership role. She was the perfect choice for the role of assistant manager. Her promotion was a statement, a signal to everyone that merit and dedication would be rewarded. Howard, demoted to a more hands-on position, was tasked with assisting Maria and the housekeeping staff. This was a strategic move, aimed at breaking down the old hierarchies and fostering a more collaborative environment. The change was immediate and jarring. The once rigid structure of the hotel began to shift, and with it, the dynamics among the staff. There was a palpable tension in the air, a mix of excitement and apprehension. Howard, stripped of his authority, was resentful. He had been a fixture in the old regime, and this demotion felt like a personal affront. He grumbled and complained, making life difficult for everyone around him. His resistance was a constant reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. Howard as Howard. This isn't fair. I don't deserve this. His words echoed the sentiments of those who feared the unknown, who clung to the familiar even when it no longer served them. Yet, amidst the grumbling, the seeds of change had been planted. Slowly but surely, the staff began to see the potential of this new beginning. It was a journey, one that required patience, resilience, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. But with each passing day, the vision of a better future became a little clearer.